So a little recap of week 3 in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. So this week we've seen Capricorn Clark, who was the personal assistant to Diddy, and she provided testimony stating she had seen eyewitness testimony of him assaulting Cassie. She also discussed just threats that were made to her and different abuse that she endured at the hands of Diddy and while working for Diddy. She also testified that Sean Combs had told her that he wanted Kid Cudi gone, that he wanted him unalived, after finding out that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi. And as you see, this is Capricorn Clark there right above us. And she worked for Diddy for many years, on and off. She had said at one point that she had been fired for supposedly stealing jewelry that she claimed she did not steal, and that she was fired after contacting Cassie's mother after an incident where she had witnessed Diddy assaulting Cassie in a really bad way. And Capricorn believed in her mind that he was going to unalive her. So she contacted Cassie's mom to ask for help. We also heard from another former assistant who went under the pseudonym Mia. So we don't know this person's name. This individual alleges that she was raped all while she worked for Sean Combs and at the hands of him during an 8-year tenure being employed by him. She is the second of 3 women that plan to testify, that they have planned to testify for the prosecution, that have claims and allegations that they were SA'd by Sean Combs. A lot of the testimony that we've heard during this trial, like I said, we just wrapped up week 3 in this trial. And so what we've heard of this last time was that former employees that witnessed Cassie being physically assaulted were afraid to go to law enforcement out of fear that they would be physically assaulted themselves, lose their job. There was so much fear. Again, it was all fear-based, which then plays into the RICO charges, but there was a lot of fear around anything, walking on eggshells with Diddy, right? So a lot of fear-based things, and I think, again, that's where they are proving a lot of these RICO charges as well. So Capricorn Clark also testified that when she started working for Diddy in 2004, and when she began working for him, she had worked for other clients. She had other clients, other rappers. I'm sure she was very experienced, and it's one of the reasons Diddy probably hired. But in all reality, he let her know very quickly that none of the rapper rivals that she had worked for better interfere with her work for him, because he would unalive her if it did. So there was the first threat just out the gate as soon as she was hired in 2004. She talked about the time back when everything was going on with Kid Cudi. And she talked about how she told jurors that Diddy had kidnapped her and took her to Kid Cudi's house, and that he was going to unalive the rapper, talking about Kid Cudi. And she thought she was going to be a part of this, so she was terrified. She stated that she stayed in the car when they went. She stayed in the car, or in the SUV, and that while in the SUV, she reached out to Cassie to let her know, hey, he's at Kid Cudi's house right now. He's in there. He just broke in. Yep. So she was letting her know, warning her of, hey, this is what's going on, because she knew something bad was going to happen to Cassie afterwards. I guarantee it. That I can almost see where her mind was in all of this. She changed in her phone it didn't have Cassie's name anymore. She changed the name. And so then when Sean Combs did come back to the SUV, he said, who have you been on the phone with? A friend. He called the number back right then, immediately. And when he found out it was Cassie, he was livid. We also heard big news for Cassie, even though she was not in the courtroom, but she did give birth to her 3rd child, a little boy. And many had said, I think one of her long-term stylists had testified and had said that she was still close with Cassie and wanted to wish her well on giving birth to her son. So that was a sweet moment, but she obviously must have delivered safely. I know that was a concern while she was testifying, because she was pregnant, very pregnant. So it's kind of wild, but yeah, she did deliver at 38 weeks. My apologies, not at 38 weeks, at age 38. I apologize. So this week, jurors also heard from law enforcement in the sense of talking about the break-in and everything that went on with Kid Cudi in 2011. They talked a little bit about the fire, B-O-M-B-I-N-G, of Cudi's Porsche. They talked a little bit about how they had found Christmas presents, some opened with luxury watches and purses. Cudi had testified that his dog was traumatized after being locked in a bathroom by intruders. And the officer said he saw a car with tinted windows registered to Bad Boys Records outside the house but didn't approach it because there had been no proof a crime had occurred at the time. But he seen them there. He caught them there. It's just had no idea really what was going on at the time. Now, we've heard a little bit about the Molotov cocktail that was thrown to then destroy or fire, set ablaze Kid Cudi's Porsche. So it's been said now, with that Molotov cocktail, it was not made with paper towels or a regular wick. Of course not. It was with a designer scarf. Have you ever heard of that? Nobody else had. I want to say they said, if I'm saying it right, I don't know designers like this. I can't afford them. Hermes or however you say that. That's the type of scarf that was stuffed down into the bottle for the wick. I would imagine that's probably thousands of dollars if I were suing for that scarf. So it played into more of letting us know that Diddy was involved in this. We did hear from a celebrity stylist, the one that had wished well to Miss Cassie. So Miss Nash had stated that, or Mr. Nash, my apologies, Mr. Nash had stated that he did not want to be there to testify. Did not. And that when he worked for, he had started an internship in 2008 and had worked with Bad Boy Entertainment until 2018. So he was with them for 10 years. He talked about how he, over the years, had heard, as he knew him as Puff, that he had watched Puff or heard Puff say a laundry list of slur towards Cassie. And then when they were talking about one in particular, and they did not tell which one this was, but I have a good feeling I might know, they said, oh, that was quite a bit. That was his favorite slur to use against Cassie. Nash later testified that Cassie had confided in him that she did not want to go along with the demands, that she was involved in these freak-offs. And so this is, again, someone else corroborating the fact that Cassie didn't want to participate in these. We've had multiple now witnesses say she wasn't interested, but she felt she had no choice. So, there we go on that. Mia, or that is the name that the second woman to testify that she was raped by Combs, she stated that at her 40th birthday that he had run his hand up her dress, forced her to perform S-acts, along with also essaying her by just crawling right into her bed at his LA home. She also said that it was so sporadic, these events, when he would do these things, they were so sporadic that she really didn't think it would happen again, because there would be long periods in between that. So she really thought that it was a one-time event, and she just sucked it up. She needed the job, sucked it up, and just kept going. So with ending week 3, prosecutors say they're ahead of schedule and that they believe they will be done calling witnesses by mid-June. Combs' lawyers have said that they may take longer than expected, particularly after prosecution revealed that they are making fairly substantial changes to their plan. So again, it may be that because of witnesses the government is not calling, we might have more on the case. So there's some changes that are going on. As a result, they believe that the trial may run until the beginning of July. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's a good possibility. Make sure you hit that follow button for more information. Again, we're going to keep up with the Diddy trial, and we just wrapped up week 3. We'll be moving into week 4 come Monday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and make sure you hit that follow button.